Jeremy, what a terrific question. We have asked that many times. Why is the North Shore governed by three separate municipalities whose total population doesn't add up to the total of Surrey, for instance? Certainly it makes sense for the two North Vancouvers to be run under one administration. There may be a case for West Van to continue as a separate municipality. Brent will talk about the history of how it all came to be, and then I have a suggestion to make if any of our politicians are listening.
The city was hived off from the district in 1907, largely because it was in the financial interests of the more downtown elite property owners in the Lonsdale corridor, and things just persisted from there. Now, it's funny you should ask this question now, as you'll see in this week's North Shore News, there is a new campaign being launched aimed at amalgamating the two North Vancouvers. It's called Unite North Van. And the argument for it is that it makes no sense to have two governments offering parallel services across arbitrary borders from each other. And the argument against it, which I've usually heard, is that amalgamation might sound like a good idea, but in the end it always ends up costing everybody more. That said, there is some talk of amalgamating certain parts.
Well, we'd like to talk about that. Frankly, it has less to do with money that homeowners may or may not save on property taxes under one bureaucratic regime, but surely to heaven a combined planning department would do a better job of managing the issues currently facing North Vancouver. We can't drive Marine Drive between 3 and 6 p.m. pretty much these days. And we have two separate administrations planning this. We've got the city responsible for the central section of Marine Drive, and the district planning either end of it at the bridgeheads. Would it not make sense for one planning department to determine how and where density best fits on the North Shore, rather than determining where and how it best fits into their own municipality? I don't understand why the District of North Vancouver feels it's necessary to replicate the City of North Vancouver and provide the number of single occupied apartments for retiring and downsized seniors when there's an abundance of that type of accommodation in the city. Does it make any sense for two adjacent municipalities to plan density and transportation separately from each other? It doesn't make obvious sense to me. I don't understand why the District of North Vancouver feels it necessary to replicate available accommodations in the city within the district, when those accommodations are less than a kilometre from where current families living in single-family homes may wish to downsize from. Is there a particular problem about crossing a municipal boundary and going to live in the city when you've lived in the district all of your life? I don't understand the sense of that. Why not make the city the residential core of North Vancouver and plan transportation and services around that concept? There's no need to create additional transportation issues in Lim Valley trying to meet an arbitrary resident target number contained in the official community plan, when those numbers can easily be housed in the accommodations built and being continue to be built in the city.
So, as you can see, Jeremy, that is a big question, and there's a lot of discussion that comes up whenever you ask why there are two North Vancouvers. For everyone else, if you have a question that you'd like to ask the newsroom, just use your smartphone to scan the Ask the Newsroom logo in the North Shore News, and we will record an answer and get back to you. Thanks so much.